vibration can be very damaging. Balancing the propeller is one way of improving the comfort of the pilot and passengers, but also it reduces mechanical wear on the components of the aeroplane. This is a Kiev ground adjustable propeller, and I'm going to statically balance it today. The propeller is from my Foxbat, an Aeropract Foxbat A22 aeroplane. I've made some adapters, and I'll show you those in a minute, but we're going to get the propeller into the workshop and start to balance it. Before I get started, it's important to note that I've removed the propeller, but I've retained, for balancing, the back plate that the spinner attaches to and the bolts, and I've kept them all in the original order that they came off the aeroplane. I've made these two adapters, some aluminium bushes which take two small bearings. I've taken the dust sleeves off of the bearings and put some thin machine oil in them so that they run very, very freely. This one goes into the back plate and this one into the front of the hub, and together they will go onto this spindle here so that we can start balancing the propeller. So the propeller has the hub has the bush inserted, and the back plate has the bush inserted. It all just slides onto the spindle there. It's a good idea to get the back plate vertical before you start doing anything. I got a very interesting tip from Ray Everett, the Foxbat importer, and he said make sure the drain holes are clear in the carbon prop, and I wondered what he was talking about, but sure enough, in the very tip of this Kiev propeller is a tiny hole, or there should be. Mine were actually completely blocked, and I simply got a piece of locking wire, very thin locking wire, and pushed it in. When it's clear, you should be able to actually suck and blow on that hole, and what it does, it allows moisture to clear the propeller if there's any condensation been trapped inside. It's best to clean the propeller, get all the bugs off. This will have an effect on the balance. I guess some bugs are quite heavy. We're ready now for our first run. Everything is set up. The propeller spins very, very freely indeed. It's essential that it does. I've just set it in motion, and it will stop with the heaviest part at the bottom. So a bit of patience is required. Allow it to do its thing. Could do without drafts as well. This may take some time, but let it finish completely. The period of the swing is getting smaller now, so hopefully we're near the stable point. This really demonstrates just how freely it is allowed to turn on the bearings here, which is a good thing. Well, that looks as though it's decided to stop with the heaviest part of the mass looking down. So what we will need to do is to add weight to the back plate in the lightest part of the mass, which would be here somewhere, right up here. There's rather a convenient hole there. I may start by putting a bolt and nut into that hole there and see how that affects the balance. I'll do that now. As a first guess, I've put a 6mm nut and bolt into the back plate here, and we'll start the propeller turning again and we'll see where it balances. I'd be surprised if it was that much out, but this is a first attempt. Well, I'm surprised. It's really saying I need to add still more weight at this point here. So we'll do that and see how we go. So I've added an additional nut, 6mm nut, to the original nut and bolt I put in. We'll see how this balances. I'll come back to you in a minute. Well, so it looks as though I may have found the source of my vibration, because I need to add still more weight here by the looks of things. You can see why it needs to run extremely freely. Well, there we are. I'm going to add another nut again to that. I hope I don't run out of nuts. So I've now got 3 nuts on the original bolt. We'll see how this goes. I'll start it spinning. Again, this is going to take some time, so we'll come back in a minute. We appear to have reached the point of equilibrium now, where it will randomly stop in any position. So it looks as though that was the extent of the imbalance. So this is the final weight. It turns out to be 13 grams. I've made it permanent by using a fresh nylock nut, and I did some very fine balancing with some additional washers, and it now is absolutely random in where it stops. So I'm hopeful this will have improved the balance of the propeller when I finally get to fit it. This is the tool for setting the pitch of the blades. The most important thing is to make sure that they're all the same. So it goes into the hole there. I've set the pitch on here. It looks as though it's 26 degrees is the normal setting. And that's pretty spot on. It touches here and it touches here when this is fully flat on the face of the hub there. So that's that one. Again, that's touching nicely when it's fully flat on here. And the third blade. I'll put this propeller back on the aeroplane today and run it, and hopefully I'll be surprised by how smooth it is now. I'll report back. So propeller's back on now, and shortly I'll take it outside and give it a ground run, see if it's performing without any vibration. Hope so. Hope we've made a difference. We'll see. So I'm going to check this with a ground run to start with, and if that's satisfactory, I'll take it for a little flight, and I'll put the camera on the wing. Here we go. Ignition on. Park brake is on. Throttle is set. Choke is on. Good look around. Beep up. First impression is that it's very much smoother. Might be wishful thinking. Still got a bit of choke out at the moment, so that may be adding slightly to a bit of roughness. But certainly the vibration through the airframe is very much reduced. I can now go to 3000 RPM with the engine. Park brake is on, so I'm just going to increase the revs now. Well, that feels pretty good. See what it's like in the air. I've got the camera mounted on the wing strut of the aeroplane via my proprietary anti-vibration device, but we'll have a quick flight and see how it behaves. Quite a strong crosswind, so goodness knows what you might be witness to. See you in a minute. pretty smooth at actually flying. Very much reduced vibration, so I'm really pleased with that. Need to go back and review the footage of these flying images now, see if there's any vibration present on that. But big thumbs up, I think. So now that is one smooth baby now. I don't know why I didn't do it years ago. Lovely. Oh, and she changes to green on this side. That's it, folks.